I've got two recipes for you today. The first one is for a copycat cheese sauce mix that can be subbed 1-for-1 with Thrive Lifes. I have several recipes in my cookbooks that call for that ingredient. I've also got a recipe that I like to call a supper helper. It's got that cheese sauce mix in it. It's almost like a hamburger helper, or in this case, a tuna helper. Both of these are yummy recipes and they will help you stock your pantry. Well, hi there, everyone. My name is Kareth. I'm a wife, a mom, an author, and a cook. On this channel, I like to create recipes using freeze-dried food. Sometimes it's completely shelf-stable, like a meal or a mix in a jar. Other times, I combine freeze-dried with fresh, but all the time, it's delicious. I'm here to help people who have freeze-dried food on their shelves to know how to cook with it. I test out recipes so you don't have to. Welcome to the Freeze-Dried Foodie. When I was coming up with this recipe, there were several things that were pretty important to me as I developed it. One of those things was that I wanted it to be a true one-to-one substitution for Thrive Lifes, because I think a lot of people who are going to be making this recipe are people who own my cookbooks. And you know, I've got several recipes in those cookbooks that call for the cheese sauce as an ingredient. So I wanted to make sure, since now Thrive Life has gone out of business, I wanted to make sure you're able to substitute something that is similar, and that way you can keep cooking my recipes. Also, I was trying to get a very similar taste and texture. I also wanted a similar ingredient list. It's not going to be exactly the same, of course, but I wanted something similar to it. Thrive Life didn't use artificial dyes. I didn't want to use those in mine either. Now, please keep in mind as you make this and put this together that Thrive Life's cheese sauce was not a component sauce. Chef Todd developed that recipe. They would cook it in big batches and then spread it out, freeze it, and freeze dry it. My recipe is going to be a component sauce, meaning it's made up of several components, and then you're going to have to cook it yourself. So just the nature of that makes it a little bit different in texture. Now, what I ended up doing was deciding I'm going to make this kind of like a Mornay sauce. A Mornay sauce is a cream sauce, basically a white sauce that has cheese added to it. So as you see these ingredients that are going to go into this cheese sauce, you're going to recognize them as the ones that are going into my bechamel sauce. So that's basically what I did. My cheese sauce is basically like a bechamel sauce base with cheese added to it. Now, the cheese, it's very important what kind of cheese you add if you're going to make this. Not all cheese powders are created equal, y'all. I spent a significant amount of time on Amazon reading ingredient labels, and I was appalled at some of them. So I'm going to just say this. If you want a good quality cheddar cheese powder to add to this cheese sauce mix that I'm showing you here, Judy's is a great option for you. They don't use artificial colors. They're not using yellow number 5 or yellow number 6. They use annatto extract, which is a seed from a tree. So it's a lot more natural than some other ones. Annatto extract is used often in Latin American and Caribbean cooking. So it's way better than yellow number 5 and yellow number 6. This ingredient that you see me adding right here is something that Thrive Life does not have in their cheese sauce. Those are nutritional yeast flakes. I put them in my spice grinder and made them into a fine powder. I love them. Not only are they healthy, but they taste very much like Parmesan. They have a nutty, salty bite. In fact, they use those nutritional yeast flakes in vegan cheese sauces. Now, I don't care so much about that, but I do care about the flavor, and it's a wonderful flavor. To those powders, I am adding some seasonings. I think just adding a little bit of chicken bouillon is really good in here. Some dry mustard, that tang is really nice. Just a little bit of sugar to balance out all the savory with a bit of sweet, and then just some salt. That's it. I'll just go ahead and whisk this and make sure everything is really nice and combined, and then I can load it up into the jar. This will all fit into a pint jar. I'm going to call 1/4 cup a serving, so you should get 8 servings out of this recipe. Of course, you could double this recipe if you want a quart, or you could cut it in half if you don't need that much. But this is what you can use as a substitute in my recipes from my cookbook as a one-to-one substitution for the Thrive Life cheese sauce powder. I wanted to show you what the sauce mixes look like side by side. And to me, they look very, very similar. The texture is similar. The smell is similar. Theirs is in the green bowl. Mine is in the blue bowl. I think theirs is just a little bit more mild in flavor compared to mine. If you own my cookbooks that I'm showing you here on the screen, you'll know that in several of my recipes, I call for the cheese sauce mix. My chicken spaghetti and my chicken tortilla soup and one of my breakfast bakes, my Christmas morning breakfast bake. So hopefully this is helpful to you to be able to continue to cook my recipes from my cookbooks. I will link to those cookbooks below. You can buy the paperback version on Amazon and the digital version on my website, which is thefreezedriedfoodie.com. And even though you're probably not going to just make up a batch of the sauce mix on its own, I thought I would show you that this is what it would cook up like in case you wanted to do that. I've got 1/4 cup of mix, and then I'm adding it to 1/2 cup of water because the ratio of water to mix is 2:1. So 2 parts water to 1 part mix. And then all you have to do is whisk it, heat it up, bring it to a simmer, and then let it go for probably 3 to 5 minutes. Let it bubble away. You want the cheese to melt really nicely. You want to wake up those seasonings. You want all those ingredients to make friends and to melt, and that's all there is to it. It is done very quickly. You could put it on pasta. You could put it on broccoli or, vegetables, use it as a cheese dip. But I think most of you, what you're going to probably do here is you're going to use it as an ingredient and put it into something else. Here they are side by side so you can compare. Thrive's is in the green bowl, mine is in the blue, and it's very similar in color. It's very similar in texture. Now, to be fair, Thrive Life's cheese sauce mix calls for you to, whenever you prepare it, you're supposed to add milk and add butter. Well, mine is just milk powder and butter powder, so that's what I used in the Thrive one as well. But still, they both still turned out really, really similar. So I wanted to show you, if you make this, you can put this on pasta, of course. It mixes really nicely on any kind of pasta. You could also, like I said, use it as a cheese dip. If you wanted a cheese sauce to put on top of some vegetables, it works like that. I already have a couple of cheese sauce recipes on my channel, and that's really not what this recipe was about for me. This recipe was about making the mix to be able to add to other recipes. Speaking of, here's another recipe that you might add the mix to. This is what I like to call a supper helper mix. And it's very similar to like a tuna helper or a hamburger helper, those box things that you can get at the grocery store. And all you have to do is add a couple cans of tuna or some leftover hamburger meat to it, or a can of chicken, or whatever it is you like. So this is a new recipe that I'm introducing today. This is just really nostalgic for me. It very much so reminds me of 1984. We're living in Louisiana. My mom says, "Kareth, it's your turn to cook for the family for tonight." And I remember grabbing these boxes of tuna helper, hamburger helper, or something like that, and cooking for my family. Of course, this is going to be a lot better because I have good ingredients I'm going to put in here. I'm going to make it taste really yummy. I can customize the flavors, and then there's no strange ingredients. It does very much taste like something that would remind you of a tuna helper from back in the day. You can add whatever seasonings you like. All I'm doing here is adding the cheese sauce mix, the bechamel sauce mix, some instant milk powder. I've got chicken bouillon, and then some other seasonings. That's a little bit of green onion. You could use chopped onions. I'm going to add some parsley. If you like a thicker sauce, you could also add some cornstarch to this. It's totally up to you. This is really customizable. I'm just putting like 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper in here. But I mean, you could go to town and add whatever seasonings you want. If you want to make this like a taco tuna night or something like that, you could substitute taco seasoning. So it's up to you. You can pair this with whatever protein you like. I'm going to use a big old can of tuna. I have a 12-ounce can of tuna that I'm going to drain and rinse there. You could use canned chicken. You could use some leftover hamburger meat that you've cooked last night or something like that. At the top of the jar, there's a little bit of extra room, and you can either add some vegetables there like zucchini or broccoli. You could add freeze-dried meat. I just added some more noodles because I just wanted to keep it really plain and simple. But I mean, it's totally up to you. So this is another recipe that you could make in advance. And if you like it, you can make several of them at a time and then have this supper helper on your pantry shelf. And then dinner is just super quick and easy. All I've done here is I've gotten out a large skillet. I've added the contents of that jar as well as 3 cups of water. And then you're just gonna, heat this up, bring it to a boil, add your canned meat or whatever protein you want to put in there, and then just let it bubble away for probably somewhere close to 15 minutes, just until your pasta is cooked all the way through. I have those Skinner brand dumplings in there, but you could use elbow macaronis, you could use shells, bow ties, like whatever pasta you like. I use this one because this is what reminds me of that Tuna Helper back when I was in middle school. But it's totally up to you. Use whatever pasta you like. I like to add the meat into it because I like that flavor from the sauce to permeate the meat. You could hold off and then add the meat at the very end if that's what you prefer. I cook this with the lid on for about 5 minutes, and then I take the lid off and let it cook the rest of the way uncovered. And that's just because I wanted some of that water to evaporate off and for the sauce to thicken. So if you leave the lid off, it will thicken up a little bit better. And this is the consistency that I was talking about earlier. If you like your Tuna Helper or Hamburger Helper or whatever this is for you, if you want this a little thicker, you can add some cornstarch to the mix to start with. But keep in mind, after you pull this off the heat, the sauce will thicken up a bit on its own, just because the bechamel sauce and the cheese sauce mix, they both have cornstarch in them already. Cook this until your noodles are tender. Give it a taste, adjust your seasonings, add whatever you want to it. You can add some heavy cream to that or half and half if you want to. I didn't. I just thought it was great the way it was. I sprinkled this with some scallions and some fresh parsley, and then to me, it was perfect. That right there is a nostalgic meal. It tastes so much like what I remember those meals in my middle school years tasting like. I think it's so good. It's creamy, it's cheesy, the noodles are nice and soft. It's easy as can be because you saw what I did there. I mean, it was like super simple. It's ready in like 15 minutes. And it's just, one of those easy, nostalgic meals. The cheese sauce itself, if you did a side-by-side taste comparison of my cheese sauce mix compared to Thrive's when they're both heated up and cooked, I think that they taste quite similar, but I think Thrive's is a little bit more mild. I think theirs tastes a little creamier. Theirs tastes a lot like what comes out of those white envelopes that are inside the Kraft mac and cheese, the blue box mac and cheese. Theirs tastes a lot like that to me. And my sauce mix is a little bit more like if you had used a sharp cheddar. So the cheddar is more pronounced. And then because I included those nutritional yeast flakes in there, and that has like a Parmesan bite to it, it just makes everything a little sharper. Now to me, I like that because it's a cheese sauce. I want to taste the cheese. And I also added that mustard powder in there, which adds a tang. The sour cream, it all adds a little bit of tang to it, which I really, really like. Both of them are very good. I mean, they're not exactly the same. But I think that if what you're going for is you want a cheese sauce that you can interchange with Thrive Lives without completely changing the taste of the meal, then this cheese sauce mix is a great option for you. I would look at the expiration dates on your ingredients, especially your heavy cream powder, and I would use your mix by that expiration date. If y'all decide to make this recipe and you end up using it in one of my recipes for my cookbooks, please let me know about it. Let me know what you think. I love to hear from y'all down in the comments. Okay guys, thank you for watching. There's just so much to say about this, and I feel like I didn't do a really good job of explaining it all to you, but there's only so much time. So I hope this is helpful to you. I hope that all of my sauce mix recipes are helpful to you. I've got a tomato sauce mix recipe. I've got the bechamel. I've got the Espanol sauce. And now I have the copycat cheese sauce mix. And if you're a fan of Thrive Life ingredients or freeze-dried ingredients in general, I think these sauce mixes are going to really help make your recipes just taste fantastic. All right, guys, I have a verse of the day for you. It is Ephesians 6:11, and it reads, "Put on the full armor of God so that you will be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil." All right, let's keep that in mind as we go about our days. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please be a friend and leave me a heart or a comment below. Be sure to like this video, and I hope you have a wonderful week, a fantastic weekend. God bless you, and until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.